Bulletproof stress technique. Bulletproof stress reducing tactics. So everybody's totally frenzied. We're totally stressed out. We feel like once we get to the bottom of our to-do list, then our stress will go down. So here's the issue. I got a story for you. I have a girl, a woman, let's call her Javi. And Javi raised 7 children, okay? 6 of them, her 6th child just got married. She has 1 child left at home in high school. And she said to me, Leah, I am so stressed out. I've got anxiety. I've got so much on my head. I'm just totally stressed out. I'm losing sleep. I'm totally stressed out. I'm like, hello, that's not what we think our definition of stress is. So my question to you all is, Sarit, are you hear me?
Yes.
What causes stress? Here she is, okay? I mean, you got to think about this. Diapers, laundry, meals. I wrote them down because there were so many. Cleaning, school lunches. She spent 20 years doing school lunches, 20 years of PTA meetings, back to school lists. You know, when you got that list, you got to go get this one notebook and that one pen or whatever. Science projects. I thought that one was funny because she's like done with science projects. Oh, well, maybe with her high school kids. She's got one, okay? All that's behind her. What'd you say? Carpool. Thank you. Hello. Oh, I didn't write that one down. Carpool. Okay, so she's got all that stress that she's been through for 20 years. Now she does not have it, and she's feeling totally stressed out. What does that tell us about stress?
That it's part of life.
Hold on. Someone's got their hand up here. Sorry.
Centered in the mind and how you view things. So if you view things in one light, then everything can be rosy and peachy, and then, you know, you have a slight shift in your thought process, and then it could be like a whole storm of thoughts. And it's just a slight shift in how we view something that can make or break our day, even.
Awesome. It's exactly where we're going with this. Yeah,
I
go ahead.
If I look at it more psychologically, I think of it as like she has been so associated with the role of a mother of so many kids that now that she's left with little bit of responsibility. I think she's at loss of what to do with herself. So she's not comfortable with who she is at the moment, not knowing what to do.
Right, and it could be just finding something to do. We know that people retire and then they're like, hello, like where'd my life go, you know? And that's a big problem. So we have, you know, that's part of it. Were you going to say something?
She needs to, we're going to fill our day with something. You know, if it's not what she's used to, she's still going to fill her day. And the same holds true with filling our mind. We're going to fill our mind with something. So,
that's awesome.
You know, this is a comfort for her.
Mm-hmm. Fill her mind with something. So
fill our being with something. We don't just vegetate. You know, we're in constant movement and thought.
Mm-hmm. And so the issue with her, I mean, the big first point that we wanted to bring out about stress is that stress is a state of mind. It's not just hi, come on in. Stress is a state of mind. It's not, we all think of stress, my to-do list. My to-do list, that's it. I'm totally stressed out because of my to-do list. Once I get my to-do list down, right? Once I get all these, you know, how many people have to-do lists with over 20 things on it? Every hand, over 50. Me, you know, right? We've got so many things on our to-do list, and we think once we get those things crossed off, then we'll be able to relax. And here we see 20 years, 6 kids later, she's still stressed out. So it's a state of mind. So here's the key that we want to understand with stress. We are not trying to produce a stress-free life. You have to listen to this because you're going through a lot of stress, okay? He's not even looking. Okay, I'm pointing right at him. Anyway, it's okay. One of our technicians. Okay, fine. He's actually the sound engineer. But anyway, he was saying he's got a lot of stress. Just got married. Okay, so anyway, we're not trying to achieve a stress-free life. Ladies, if we had a stress-free life, we wouldn't get anything accomplished. We'd be dead. We wouldn't have the motivation to get stuff done. And in timing, also, it's like, oh, so-and-so's coming. Ugh, I really better clean the kitchen. The kitchen wouldn't get cleaned, or stuff wouldn't get done. So the goal isn't a stress-free life. But when stress is affecting your mood, affecting your relationships, affecting your sleep, then you've got something to work on. Then we have stuff that we need to figure out. Okay, how am I going to do this? And it could be logistically getting your to-do list down, right? So let's learn some tools. Okay, so there's a bunch of stressors that we could have that aren't our to-do list. Disappointments in life. Things didn't go the way we wanted. Unrealized expectations. We had thought this is where we'd be in our life at this time. Oh, I thought by now we'd for sure have bought a house. I thought by now, my kid would have been finally better at school and I wouldn't be having these struggles anymore. I thought by now my husband would finally understand me. Good luck with that one. If you figure out how to get your husband to understand you, write me an email. I would love to know. Okay, so there we go. So the issue is there's stressors other than our task list. Too much on our plate is one thing, but I'm going to talk about now one of the ultimate causes for stress in our life that is probably the kingpin. This is the game changer point of the show, that if you understand this, it will help you to understand everything else, which is the single biggest cause of stress in our lives is lack of emunah, lack of understanding. Emunah translates as in belief in Hashem. Betochen translates as in trust in Hashem. But that the way things currently are is not the way they should be. Meaning, I'm not just, I'm chill, taking it as it comes. It's like, why did he pull out in front of me? I meant to go to that store and it's closed. Every moment is filled with stuff. It's just life comes at us. It's coming at us. And we have our own idea of how life should look in the moment, of what should be happening in the moment, of how it should go in the moment. And that lack of understanding that God himself is running every detail of our life. And the fact that there was something on the sidewalk and you kind of tripped over and went like that was designed for you to do on purpose. So for you to be stressed out about all the things that aren't going well in your life, and we've all had those days. I mean, some of us, most of our days, okay? I get it, okay? Most of our day, if you really sat back and thought about it, most of our day isn't going the way we would script it. That discrepancy between where we would script it and how it actually is where that's like the source, the heart of source. So how do we work on that? Because this is a tough one. Like, Leah, okay, you've asked us a lot of stuff. This is tough. You're telling me, like, someone, cuts us off, or a lady comes, is it okay if I go in front of you? And then she goes in front of you, whatever, and you're just like, no, actually, it wasn't okay, when that kind of stuff happens, if we can plug in, like if we had a computer chip and we could just plug in, that was supposed to happen. That was supposed to happen. Oh, yeah, that was supposed to happen. Because it was. Here's the bottom line. It was. And how do we know that? Let's go right to our sources. There is a halacha, a Jewish law, that says, it's in the Shulchan Aruch, that we are meant, it's the Shulchan Aruch in Orach Chaim, that we are meant to think everything Hashem does is for the best. For the best. We're required to do that. That's not like, that's a nice afterthought. So having the thought it was supposed to happen that way, that's like a commandment. That's like something that we're meant to do. and also the Gemara teaches, Rabbi Akiva was accustomed to saying everything that is Gams L'Tov, it's all for the good. Also, Nachum Ish Gamzu, who always said Gams L'Tov, it's all for the good. So there are many sources. I have a whole bunch of others. I'm not going to go into all the little tiny print because I can hardly read it. We don't have time. But there's a lot of sources we have that we are required to feel. It's all for the good. That thing that just happened, that seems horrible, that was supposed to happen. So here's the thing. I'm giving it over to you right now, but I want you to understand, this is a try this at home. This is oh my goodness, you're going to come back next week and report and say, unbelievable. It's so powerful a stress reducer to feel. Now, I'm not to feel that everything's for the good. I'm not saying that you shouldn't work on your stress level. You shouldn't work on your to-do list. You shouldn't work on some of the other tools I'm going to give you right now. But I'm just saying that is where it all starts. Sarit, did you have something?
No, it's a part of it, like I totally hear all of it, and I actually really believe that it's all there for a reason. And you have the ability to perspective to decide how stressful you're going to be or not be. But I almost feel as though, isn't there a part of it also just life-based, meaning when someone does it, I know your story, the woman is feeling the same stress and she was when she had all these kids and stuff, and now she doesn't, and she's, meaning everyone's out and she's still feeling all this stress. But I almost feel as though, for example, like now I'm on vacation. I'm still not stressed like I am when I'm normally in my own sort of doing my thing and at home. And I feel like I sometimes feel like some of my stress is external.
Mm-hmm. No, it's both external and frame of mind. That's for sure true. But there's a lot that we can do to minimize, which I'm going to get to now, minimize the external stress. But it has to start with understanding in a deep, deep level that everything that happens is for the good, even if it looks bad at the time.
Okay, meaning, but you're going to give, like, there is a component, there is a component of external, though, that we can't deal with, you're saying.
Exactly.
It's just that we have to start,
Good segue into the tools of the day. Okay, so the tools of the day, there's 3 of them. Number 1, to figure out what is causing your stress. Not like what's in general stress. What stresses you out? Is it your to-do list? If so, maybe you need to cut that down. Maybe you need to get more organized. Maybe you need to figure out, you know what, I really wanted to, and I'm having all these people and I'm da-da-da. I'm just going to cut my list down, or I'm going to get a friend to help me. If you can't afford to get a housekeeper to come help you and you've got, 10 people coming for Shabbos, say to your friend, you have nobody coming for Shabbos. Help me this week in the kitchen. Next week, you have your 10 people, I'll help you. How's that? Do deals. You know what I'm saying? Just make a trade. Get yourself helped so that your stress level is brought down. So, but you have to understand your own stress. Is your stress caused by, I had somebody who, her husband was a, what's it called? Not finicky. What's a good word? She felt like she could never satisfy him, and then he liked this, and then she did that. Hard to satisfy, basically. Just always a little bit of a difficult person. So that just caused her enormous stress. It wasn't the kids' homework. It wasn't sitting there, making the lunches. It wasn't all the stuff she had to do. That was fine. But when her house, there was like this tension in their house because she could never quite please her husband. She's working on it. She's working on how to please him better. And a lot of that, this is somebody from a student from several years ago. A lot of that, she came through the whole communication class that we're gonna get to, and she talked to him about how she never feels like she's a good enough wife. And by talking to him about that and explaining it to him and saying, you got to at least, what do they say? Throw me a bone. Like, just tell me a little, like you're in general happy, but I feel like I do and I do and I do, and you're never happy with me. And he got it. I haven't followed up with her in a while, but I'm just saying that there's, you need to sort of see what causes you stress and work at reducing it. So understanding your own specific stress triggers is crucial to figuring is to reducing it. So maybe in your journal, in your notebook, whatever, work on what stresses me out. Or you're just going through your life and you're like standing there and you're in traffic and you're like, it's stressing you out, and you're like, you know what? I'm not going to schedule 3:00 in the afternoon appointments anymore. I'm going to go at 11 when there's less traffic, or whatever. Or I'm going to Uber. I'm going to something. I'm going to solve this. I'm going to walk. This causes me stress. Know what your stressors are. Very important. Number one. Number two, Gams Latov. It's all for the good. Emunah tool for the day. So it's an ayin tov. So part of it is when you are seeing everything around you in a positive light. That helps with seeing the good that Hashem does for us. So number two is Gams Latov, and the third one is Cup of Stress, which is we did this a few weeks ago. I've asked a lot of people ask me, can you repeat that? Can you repeat that? So I figured we're doing a class on called Bulletproof Stress Strategies. This is a good way, a good time to repeat it. Okay, so here, this is you. Okay, this is your normal life. You're going through life, whatever. And now, this is stress. Okay, it looks like refreshing water, but let's just call it stress for a second. Okay, so you're having a normal day. And you get a parking ticket. You get some stress, right? Okay. You get an annoying email. You get water everywhere. You missed the carpool. Your kids, the teacher called you. The maid doesn't show up. Now it's going to go over the top. Okay. What else? What are other stresses? Name one. Right? What else? A bill came. Good. What else? Can't find your keys. Okay, that definitely is going over the top. Okay, so now, here's the thing. When this water goes over the edge, you lose. We lose. That's the end game. That means when this bubbles over, that is when everything's going up, and then the pot boils over, and then your husband comes in, hi, dear, did you remember to pay the phone bill? And you're like, wow, how you picked the wrong timing. What were you thinking? Blah, 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 blah. What is that? Because it went over. This is the problem. So what do we do about this? Here's our stress. This is where I think most of us walk around our daily life. Maybe it's even more, but I don't want to spill all over the microwave and we'll have a short, I'll get electrocuted, God forbid, problems. So I'm not going to, but just imagine this like up there, about to go over. That's how we walk around our daily life. It's a problem. Okay, right? Yeah. So how do we reduce this? So first one, relax. Take a walk, take 5 minutes or so. Listen, I have a thing, people even think I have a thing about the bathroom because I always say, if all heck is breaking loose, everything's crazy and insane, oh, I need to go to the bathroom. They're not going to say, no, you can, actually, if you have a young baby, I take that back. But, go to the bathroom and spend 5 minutes there. Just sit. That takes away some of the stress. I'm going to Well, I'll pour it into this other glass. Okay, so that takes some. Otherwise, I'm going to sit, but I won't be able to talk, or I'll spit all over the place. Okay, so other ways to take stress off. Someone calls you up, like you have guests coming for Shabbos. Someone calls you up and says, "Oh, can you have an extra 9 people?" Right? Say no. No. Okay, that's no. Look at all the stress that went down. Now, if it was easy for you, or you haven't entertained can you guys see the fly on the screen? There's a fly flying. No water for you. Oh, you want some stress? Here you go. Okay, so anyway, you're pouring this water. You want to keep this lower and lower. You don't want to keep it empty, again, because no stress, you're going to get nothing done. Okay, what else can we do? Hold on a second. Set boundaries. Somebody calls you, hi, blah, blah. I'm so sorry. I don't take calls after 9 o'clock. Can you, Leah? Can you, so-and-so is coming into town. Can you pick them up at the airport? No. Okay. What else? What are some other ways to get our things? Manage your self-care. So a lot of people are like, it's the last thing on their list. It's like they never get to cut their toenails because it's just like, it just never happens because and their toenails they don't fit their shoes anymore, okay? Cut your toenails. Self-care, okay? It's like a gross example, but I'm just saying, do stuff to take care of yourself. Go for a walk, go for a manicure, huh? Go shopping. Like, hello, just say, you know what? I meant to do it last Wednesday and something else came up and I didn't get to it. I'm going to do it now. I'm taking the next 2 hours off. I'm going shopping. I'm going, you know what? Those people who do lunch, I'm not one of those people who do lunch, but you know what? I've really been doing a lot lately. There was Yontif, there was a guest, there was a wedding, there was this, I'm frenzied. I'm completely frenzied. I'm going to take my friend to lunch. That's how we do that. Okay, now, those are ways to get our stress down. There is a whole other strategy. Did you want to say something?
I just want to say it's important that when somebody lets go or say no, or when they actually, whatever they think they're reducing, they have to be able to actually let go, because sometimes I know some people, they say no, but then they feel guilty the whole day.
Very
Why
good.
did I say no?
Glad you brought
and
that
up. And that adds even more to their stress.
Yeah. And that's exactly. Ooh, I love that one. So yeah, when you're letting go, really let go. Done, like finished, over with. Like and then if later you start regretting, oh, I should have gone, or I should have done this, or I should have whatever, say to yourself, give myself permission to let go. I give myself permission. Okay, so those are half the techniques. The other techniques, now I got this little thing to show, we have our little, what are these called? Props. There we go. Okay, so show and tell. So one way is to reduce the water. I didn't have a clear thing or whatever, but anyway, this just kind of gives you an idea. The other thing you can do is increase your capacity for handling stress. A cute little thing. Okay, so here are a couple of things you can do to increase our coping skills. One is to educate yourself. Watch role models. How do people with a lot of kids and a lot of things and a huge task, like what do? Are they making lists? Is that a good thing? Are they just naturally more chilled? Are they like drinking whiskey? No, I didn't say that. You didn't hear that out of here, okay? What are they doing? Watch role models. That's one thing. Okay, that makes yourself bigger. Then you see what they do. You take notes on what they're doing, and you become better able to cope. Okay, get yourself more organized. There is nobody some people of us are naturally organized, and some people aren't. If you're a non-organized type of person, then you should get a book or work on it or get a friend to help you, something like that, okay? There's a lot of strategies about getting yourself organized. When things are on a list, for most people, if they're written down, they're not banging their head. It takes the stress level down, because it's like it's like, oh yeah, I forgot I had to do da-da. If you have a list of what you have to bring to to carpool, or who you're picking up, or lists really do help most people. Some people, they're like, oh, I can't live like that. I can't work like that. For most people, making lists really help. Okay. Other things, you ever notice, I mean, we mentioned before that, a young newly married, they're having one couple for Shabbos, and it's like they're making menu, the Sunday before, they're, going shopping and getting the ingredients and whatever. By the time you're married already 5 years, 10 years or whatever, you don't even think. You just kind of, you pick it up Friday morning, you're good, depending. But I'm just saying, why did that happen? You're the same human being. Why did it happen? It's because your coping strategies are much better. You're more capable. You have in your mind those unwritten lists of what to do, or you have lists, charts. So I have a chart of everything that I ever order from my supermarket, from my market, so that it jogs my memory. I don't have to think before I do. So you want to get yourself organized. Basically, you want to start living your life. This is the not the number one, that's emunah, but the key logistic strategy to reducing your stress is to live your life now like you want to live it, rather than thinking someday I'm going to live it that way. So if that means going for a walk, like, oh, yeah, when I get around to it, and after I finish my to-do list, and after the bar mitzvah, and after the this and then that, then I'll be taking care of myself and reducing my stress. Start today. It's not going to happen by itself. You probably said 5 years ago, yeah, soon I'm going to take care of my stress. Do it today. Okay, that is the cup of stress strategy. And Sarit, did you have anything you wanted to add here before I ask a question?
No, that's actually very powerful, because I think a lot of those things are tools that when you have to practice them when you're not stressed. Like now would be a perfect time while I'm away on vacation.
Yeah, right.
Because when you're actually in the stress, it's not as easy to pull out of it.
Yeah, 100%. So I wanted to end with a little bit of a story that I heard this week. Thank you, Sari. That I heard this week from Rabbi Bess. And he said that there was a man from Israel. His name was Benny. And he desperately needed a kidney transplant. And so he was in Israel, didn't know what to do, and people told him you need to go to New York. This is about 30 years ago, and he needed to go to New York for a kidney transplant. So he left his wife and his children there. Very stressful situation. He gets to New York, and a very, very kind man let him have his back house for free, and he ate the food by this person, and while he waited for his kidney. It took 2 years. 2 years went by, no kidney. Missing his family, talking to them on the phone, not going back and forth. A very, very difficult time for this man. And after 2 years, the man whose house he lived in felt very, very bad for him. And he said, we've been waiting 2 years. Someone just told me that San Francisco is the place to get kidneys. I guess it was 30 years ago. I don't know if it is anymore or whatever. So you need to go to San Francisco. He's like, I don't really want to go to San Francisco. I feel like I'll miss the call. I mean, the way these transplant works, the hospital calls, you're next on the list. Come in right away. It's a match. Come now. And you have to come like that. I don't want to go. And the person who owned the home, he said, you know what, just we've waited here for 2 years. We need to change our mazel, change our luck. Let's go to San Francisco. So okay. But we need to stay in constant contact. So the wife was like, she was also like, really, you're going to go? Okay, fine. I will call you if they come. You'll be able to grab the next plane home. Fine. They get on the plane. They go to San Francisco. Land in San Francisco. The husband forgot to turn the phone on. Yeah, ouch. They get to the hotel. It's middle of the night. They're exhausted. Who's going to call at 2 o'clock in the morning anyhow by the time they got to their hotel? They went to bed, and they woke up, I don't know what time, and there were urgent messages, urgent, call us right away. The wife, whatever, urgent, call us. They called immediately. 2 kidneys that matched were given to other people. Yeah. It was one person with 2 kidneys, and they were given to other people. So the guy is on the phone with his wife, and he doesn't even know what to say. He turns to the guy who needs the kidney, and he says, we missed it. We missed it. We missed the call. I didn't realize till now my phone was off the hook. And this man from Eretz Israel, he says, look how crazy the machinations God had to go to give the kidneys that were meant for the other people to the other people. Those kidneys were not meant for me. They were meant for the other people. Gamzu latov, it's all for the good. But how crazy is that? He had to pick us up on an airplane. Those kidneys were waiting, and he says, oh, they're right there. It's going to go to him. It's not supposed to go to him. It's supposed to go to these other people. And he had to get us to go to San Francisco, which is a crazy thing for us to have done. Have the phone not work. Have them not be able to reach us. That's just incredible. And the guy who's looking is like, is this guy normal? Is he human? Is he a human being? This is not normal. He ends up, they wait another 7 weeks, and he gets a kidney. The man, they go back to New York. The guy goes back to Israel with his new kidney. They go back to New York, and he says, I got to find out what's happening. So he tracks down those 2 kidneys. And it turns out they were damaged kidneys. They were diseased. And the 2 people who they were implanted in did not make it. The guy who got the kidney in San Francisco, the one who said, Gams Latov, it's all for the good. Look how great God is. He lived another 30 years. I wanted to give over this story that we should understand how powerful it is for us to get the message, Gams Latov, it's all for the good. And if we can, in our daily life, when something happens, say Gams Latov. Say, that was meant to happen. It was meant to happen. I know. It doesn't look good now. We got a flat tire. It does not look good now, but it is good. We know from our sources it is good. And if we get to that place, not only will our stress level be brought down to a much greater level, much lower level, but we will also have a level of contentment in our life, and we'll be able to feel God's presence much more often in our lives, which is what we're all working for. So, fantastic. Let me give the secret of the day. The fastest way to de-stress in your life is to have faith in God that everything is for the good. The homework for the week is to say no to at least one thing, not to your husband, whatever, we'll work on other, say no to at least one request this week. So someone's going to ask you, oh, can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? Oh, you don't have to say, no, ha, 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 I did my homework. Say, oh, I'm so sorry. It's not going to work for me right now. Well, I'm so sorry. It's not going to work for me. But it's only for 20 people, cooking for 20 people. I'm so sorry. It's not going to work for me today, this week, or this life, or whatever. So the homework is to say no one time. Are there any last-minute questions or comments before we sign off for the day? We're all good. Okay, thank you. This is the Ladies Talk Show. Your host, Leah Richeimer. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you not next week. Next week, we're going to have what are those things called when you, a rerun, huh? Yeah, you'll watch a rerun of an older show, and then the following week, we'll be back with our final topic in the series. Okay, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.